I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, May the 6th, 2016. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu held an emergency cabinet meeting last night to discuss the escalating situation along Israel's border with Gaza. IDF troops were once again targeted today by mortar fire from the Strip. As we've been reporting to you, Israeli soldiers have come under mortar fire repeatedly over the last few days as they operate in the area to find Hamas terror tunnels. The IDF is responding to the mortar fire with airstrikes on terror targets and tank fire. Palestinian media reports that a 54-year-old Palestinian woman was killed last night when Israeli tank shells hit near her home east of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. There has been no confirmation on that. Meanwhile, Hamas leader in Gaza, Ismail Haniyeh, warned Israel about what he called incursions into Gaza. Haniyeh said, "We are not calling for a new war, but we will not under any circumstance accept these incursions." Haniyeh claims Israel is using the search for terror tunnels as an excuse to enter Gaza. And Ynet reports that a 26-year-old Palestinian man was arrested by Israeli border police this morning near the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron after he ignored calls to stop walking towards Israeli security officers. The man was found to be carrying a knife and later admitted that he planned to carry out an attack. And the Prime Minister has invited all United Nations personnel stationed in Israel to take part in a seminar on Jewish history. This follows a recent decision by UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, that did not acknowledge the Jewish connection to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Netanyahu said it is hard to believe that anyone, let alone an organization tasked with preserving history, could deny this link, which spans thousands of years. It has not yet been announced when the seminar will be taking place. The World Jewish Restitution Organization, or WJRO, launched a social media campaign around the issue of Holocaust-era property restitution this week as the Jewish world commemorated Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. The campaign is calling attention to the tens of thousands of Holocaust survivors who are still waiting for European governments to return or compensate for properties stolen from them during the Holocaust. The hashtag Holocaust Justice is being shared on Facebook and Twitter, urging individuals and organizations to sign a petition on change.org, which is addressed to the leaders of the 47 countries that endorsed the 2009 Terezin Declaration on Holocaust-era assets. Chair of Operations of WJRO, Gidon Taylor, said more than 7 decades after the Holocaust, survivors and their heirs should not have to wait any longer for a small measure of justice for the theft committed against them. We are urging governments in Europe, he said, to resolve these issues now so that Holocaust survivors can live with dignity and so that Jewish communities in Europe can be sustained and revitalized. The World Jewish Congress strongly criticized Google for its refusal to remove all anti-Jewish and racist hate songs from its YouTube video platform. WJC President Ronald Lauder said that the organization has raised the issue with Google Germany, but nothing has been done as of yet. He said such inaction is scandalous and it beggars belief. YouTube has taken down a few videos, but others still remain. Lauder urged the German government to take action immediately. He said illegal incitement to hatred should not be tolerated by the authorities. The American Jewish Committee held their Women's Leadership Board Spring Luncheon this week, honoring 3 women who have demonstrated courage and vision to in the service of humanity. They include teenage Yazidi refugee Samia Sleiman, CEO and founder of FEED Lauren Pierce Bush Lauren, and Emory University professor and Holocaust scholar Deborah Lipstadt, who received the AJC Jewish Leadership Award for being a, quote, champion of the Jewish people and the rights and dignity of all people, as well as guardian of historical truth and memory. A copy of Grimm's fairy tales that once belonged to Anne Frank and has her signature on it sold for $62,500 at auction yesterday in New York. Swan Auction Gallery said the 1925 edition belonged to Anne and her sister Margot. Both girls' names are written on the title page. The Times of Israel reports that shortly after the war, a Dutch couple bought the book at a secondhand bookstore in Amsterdam. When, after realizing who it belonged to, they offered to return it to Otto Frank, Anne and Margot's father, and the only Frank family member to survive the Holocaust. The letter with Otto's reply was part of the sale yesterday. It reads, "Understanding from your letter your compassion for what has happened to us, it would please me if you kept the book for your daughter in memory of my children." And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, May the 6th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock tonight from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by a concert of outstanding Israeli musicians at 7:30, and then at 8 o'clock, highlights from Kulturfest. At 9 o'clock, it's the film Auschwitz Escape, followed by Wings Over Auschwitz. And at 10:30, it's Muzika with Israeli singer Asaf Amdorsky. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, May the 6th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.